Good girls don't get into situations where they have to say no. A mother was told her daughter what she believed was right, which is good girls don't get into situations where they have to say no. It sounded wise, it sounded protective. But a few months later, that girl found herself in a situation where she needed to say no, and she didn't know how to. That moment revealed something that many families don't realize. Avoiding conversations about boundaries does not protect children. It prepares them poorly. You want to know what happened, right? I will tell you. But wait first, let me explain something to you. In many homes, the word consent feels uncomfortable. It sounds too modern, too exposed, too unnecessary. But let's remove the noise. Consent is not about encouraging behavior. Consent is about dignity, self-respect, personal boundaries, and mutual respect. Even in everyday life, we already practice consent without even calling it that. For example, you do not enter someone's room without knocking. You'll be invading their privacy. You do not take what belongs to someone without asking. You'll be labeled a thief. You do not force conversation when someone is uncomfortable. You'll be seen as being weird. That is consent. Consent means asking first and respecting the answer that comes after. So the question is not, should we teach consent? The real question is, are we teaching it clearly enough in situations that matter the most? Before I continue, please remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I make a post. Also, do well to leave comments and share the video to everyone who needs to hear it. Moving on with the topic. There was a boy I once spoke to. He genuinely believed he had done nothing wrong. He said, "Ma, I thought she liked me. She didn't say no immediately." To him, silence meant agreement. To her, silence meant discomfort. Two different interpretations, one painful outcome. I will come back to his story because it reveals something many boys are never taught clearly. In many homes, even mine, parents teach, don't go near boys. Focus on your studies. Stay away from trouble. I remember when I first had my period, my mom told me it means if a boy touches you, you get pregnant. And imagine me wondering how that was possible. And the speed at which I avoided boys was like the speed of light. But all these instructions were protective instructions, but they were not complete because they didn't teach what to do when someone crosses boundary with you. They didn't teach how to recognize discomfort, how to express a firm no, and how to respect another person's no. So when situation arises, which we will, young people are unprepared, silence creates confusion. And confusion can lead to harm. Not always intentional harm, but harm from lack of understanding. So let's go back to the girl I mentioned at the beginning. She grew up hearing, stay away from boys. So she avoided conversations about relationship completely. She didn't ask, she didn't talk. But one day, she found herself alone with someone she trusted. Nothing extreme, just a moment that required her to set a boundary. And in that moment, she froze. Not because she agreed, but because she had never practiced saying no. She later said, "Ma, I don't know how to speak." That sentence is very important. She didn't lack value. She lacked language. And without language, values cannot be expressed. I previously created a video on why your child should tell you no as a parent. It explains why it is important to teach your child to set boundaries with you as a parent, so it will be easy for them to set boundaries with others. I have attached the video somewhere here. Now let's talk about something we often ignore. In many cultures, boys are not taught boundaries the same way girls are taught. Instead, they are taught to pursue, to initiate, to be confident. But confidence without clarity becomes pressure. And pressure without understanding can lead to mistake. Now, let's return to that boy I mentioned earlier. He said, "I thought she liked me." When I asked him how he knew, he said, "She did not stop me at first." That statement reveals something important. He was never taught that silence is not consent. Hesitation is not consent. Discomfort is not consent. Nobody explained that consent must be clear, willing, and continuous. He wasn't a bad boy, he was just an uninformed child. And the difference matters because one can be corrected, the other becomes dangerous. Let's bring this back to your values. Teaching consent does not weaken discipline. It strengthens character because when you teach a child to respect another person's boundary, to control their impulses, to understand their emotional signals, you are not teaching them exposure, you are teaching them responsibility. Consent in this context becomes self-control, respect, honor, dignity. These are not foreign ideas. They are deeply aligned with cultural and moral values. Instead of avoiding the topic completely, try simple, respectful language. To your daughters, you can tell, you have a right to your space. If something makes you uncomfortable, you can say no clearly. To your sons, you can teach, respect is not just what you say, it is how you respond when someone is uncomfortable. And to both children, you can teach, if it is not clearly agreed, it is not okay. Keep it simple, calm, and respectful. Many parents fear that talking about these things will encourage the behavior. I remembered a school I went to carry out a research for my postgraduate studies. And while having conversations with the principal, she informed me that they do not have conversations like that in the school. They leave it to the parents because they do not want to encourage the behavior and they do not want to offend the parents. But in reality, silence does not prevent the situation. It removes preparation. Your child does not need fear. They need understanding. They do not need avoidance. They need clarity. Because one day they will find themselves in a situation where decision must be made. And in that moment, they will not remember long lectures that you have given. They will remember clear understanding that they got from the messages that you have given. So the question is not, do I protect my child by avoiding conversation on sexuality and consent? No. The question is, am I preparing my child to carry my value into the real world situation? This is for both male and female parents.